So, you know it's a good day when I've got the dry erase board out, okay? So today, I even took my notes so I don't get off topic. If you don't know me and you're new here, I am April Oconti. I'm a mom of two and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been down all aspects of business. I have a brick and mortar business. We have a couple brick and mortar businesses actually. And I have a couple online businesses, and I'm telling you why today I like the online businesses better and how you could break down the mindset wrapped around entrepreneurship, because it is all mindset. And if you don't have a strong mindset and you don't have your framework laid out for you, then a lot of times success will not come to you because you will be a mess. You will not have any foundation. It's just like a house. If your basement is not dug out and you do not have the foundation laid correctly, your house might fall apart. Your house might cave in if it doesn't have correct foundation. So the foundation behind the mindset related to entrepreneurs is a lot of framework. And the framework involved has a breakdown, and there's a system for this, and there's a setup for it, and there's a whole bunch to it. So today I'm gonna literally be giving like a mini course on the framework around success and online businesses. So I'm gonna jump right into it. If anyone's joining me and you missed anything I'm saying, you could find it on YouTube after this shortly. So you have to have a growth mindset, right? And that's the first thing. And let me tell you what that entitles. So when you have a growth mindset, I'm gonna write this down because we're gonna be following along here. That title is like, you know there's setbacks and you know they're gonna come, but you know you're ready for growth because your setbacks equal lessons. No setback is a wasted setback, right? So your setback in your growth mindset, so you need to break it down. We're gonna title here growth mindset. And then you need to break it down as setbacks equal lessons. Anybody with a business knows that you do not fail, you learn, right? So that takes me to the next one. Failures equal lessons. Setbacks equal growth, actually. We're gonna put growth there because I like failures. So setbacks equal growth, so there's room to grow because you have more room to grow. And then failures equal lessons. So anybody in the entrepreneurial world will know this framework. Sorry, I have a full house. This is mom life right here. They'll go away, I promise. Okay, so today I'm bringing out the dry erase board because I don't want you guys to forget what I'm saying, but I don't know if this is backwards because it's a selfie camera, so bear with me on that. Success framework. The first one is a growth mindset. So the first one is your setbacks will always equal growth. You will always have more room to grow every time you're set back, right? So your failures will always be lessons. They'll never be failures. So when you fail, pat yourself on the back, you just learned a lesson. When you have a setback, you didn't work 10 steps, 15 steps backwards, you just left there a little bit more room to grow in a different direction, right? So this is the mindset you have to have with success. If you don't have this mindset, you're not gonna succeed. So every time you get set back, you quit. Every time you fail, you dig yourself in a depression hole. That's not gonna create success. You're not gonna grow. So these are the mindset, this is the framework inside a successful mindset that's going to take you to the next level of your career. If you want to grow places, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to make the big money, you can't cry and boo-hoo every single time you have a failure or a setback. So the next one is you need to be resilient. You need to understand these things so well that when things come to you, it doesn't even faze you. It's like you're wearing a bulletproof vest. They hit you, they bounce off you, you keep moving, you keep pushing. So that is like number one when you come to in the online world especially, but in entrepreneurship at all. So the next one you want to do is you want to visualize your success, okay? So if you can't visualize yourself successful because you are in such a dark place, hand me that, buddy. Because you're in such a dark place, if you can't visualize where you're gonna be, what you want, like I could close my eyes right now and I can tell you what I want, where I'm going, how I'm gonna get there, what my beach house looks like, what my car looks like, what my hair looks like in those successful moments. Like that is how clear you need to be on what you want. Now don't get me wrong, you might not know the journey and how you're gonna get there, but you should be able to like literally close your eyes and almost like touch what your dream is, okay? So when you are trying to build this dream life and you have no idea where you're going and no idea how you're gonna get there, that makes things a lot more difficult, right? So you need to be able to take a hard lesson and understand it's a failure equals a lesson. You need to be able to understand that setback equals room for growth. So those are the number one things you need to do in getting that mindset in the right area, okay? So your next framework, like I said, you need to be able to visualize. And this is something you should practice every day. It's almost like daydreaming, meditation, prayer, whatever you call it. You should be able to close your eyes and literally imagine what your perfect day looks like. If this is something you've never done, then I invite you to do it with me right now. You should literally close your eyes. If you're having a hard time relaxing because you are everywhere, then just take some deep breaths, reset the nervous system. 3 deep breaths always works for me, maybe 5 sometimes on a bad day. Just take those deep breaths, take them in and out, and then literally start to imagine what your perfect day looks like, okay? Does it look like you're getting up for work? If that's your perfect day, God bless you. But what does your perfect day look like? Does your perfect day look like you're waking up whenever you feel like it? You're like, the sun woke me up, not the crazy life, not the blue collar alarm clock. You got out of bed when you wanted to. You had the most perfect breakfast. What does your perfect drink look like? What does your perfect day look like? And I invite you to imagine that over and over again. So literally take yourself into that place and imagine that perfect day. What does that perfect day look like? Okay? Once you can imagine what the perfect day looks like, then I invite you to imagine what your perfect life looks like. And as you daydream those things, that's setting these are practices you want to do because it lets your brain see where you're going. It lets your brain open up avenues to try to create that perfect day, to try to create that perfect world. So our brains are so powerful. Our subconscious is so powerful. Hang on. Sorry, guys. So visualizing what you want should be an everyday thing. I visualize my perfect day all the time. I visualize my perfect life every day. And it should be so clear. So I'm going to write that on this board because it is, I already did. So your success framework is going to consist of your growth mindset, which is realizing setbacks are growth. Failures are lessons and being resilient in them. You need to understand these things because if every setback you go into a depression, if every setback and failure you start doubting yourself, then you don't have a deep enough foundation in your mindset, and we need to work on that. And that's a whole different video and a whole different topic. So then next, like I said, you want to visualize. You want to visualize daily. You want to visualize daily what you're chasing and what your dream life looks like so that you stay clear on the goal. So that when you do have those bad days, your dream life that's already painted in your head is already so pounded in there that those setbacks cannot change your visualization of what you're going for because you know what your dream life looks like. So there's nothing that can stop you from chasing your dream life because you're so set. Because you've done the daydream, you've done the visualization of what that perfect day looked like and what that perfect life looked like. So you know it's achievable and you will not stop at anything to get it. So that when you're going in your growth mindset, you don't have to worry about those things knocking you back 10 steps because you've already done the visualization and the work to get there. So next, you got to be really clear on your problems, okay? And the reason I'm saying your problems, clear on your problems and goals. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're really clear of what you don't look like about your life, if you're very clear on your pain points of yourself, like me, I'm very busy. I don't have time to learn a new skill like that. Like I can invest the time, but I don't have time to things that are going to be difficult. That's number one. My kids are my priority. That's not a problem, but it needs to be set there. I need to have things that do work for me when I'm not able to do the work. I have some things going on health-wise. I have bad days. I have to have something that allows that to keep going. Me, I'm not fake. I'm very authentic. I cannot have a business that involves me having to ask my family and friends to be involved in business. So that is the number one thing. So I'm writing down, and this is the work you want to do at home. You need to write down your clear pain points and your clear goals. Because once you write down what you don't want, then you write down the goals of what you do want. And then you're going to be able to walk forward figuring out how to solve your problems. But if you don't know what you don't want and you don't know what you do want, then it's going to be very hard to set yourself around for success when you don't know how to get there. You need to know how to get there, right? So That's where the plan comes in. You're going to take yourself into a plan. And even if you don't know your plan, it's kind of like a rough draft plan or like a roadmap. You're creating a roadmap here because now you know what you don't want and now you know what you do want. So now you need to figure out how you're going to get there. Because you don't want to wrap your head around the how. You just have to figure out what things you need out of the business you're looking to have. So this is all structured around, you could do it for brick and mortar, but it's more structured around an online business. What do you want? What do you not want? So you can now pick what you need out of an online business and create it. So for me, I'm a busy mom. I'm a very busy mom. I'm also a healing mom. So I need something that creates automation. It has to have automation so that I can have it working for me. I need something that is going to let me nurture and communicate with my clients because I'm very authentic. I like to speak to my people. And that's something I need of an online business, right? I need something that's going to produce for me big dollars because I'm no longer trading time for money. So these are all my things that would take me to I'm clear on problems and goals because all of those things I would be able to check off as I'm fixing and picking out the business I want and the business model that would work for me, right? Automation needs to be easy. I need 100% profit so that I could make good, big money. I don't want nickels. I'm not trying to make 10% off $100. I need big money. That's where my goals are because I've already visualized my perfect life. I've already visualized my perfect day. And unfortunately, homegirl's bougie. She needs big money to make that happen so I can give to the charities I want, so I can be the largest donor in my church, so I can biohack my health, so I can afford that workout machine because those are my wants. That was in my visualization. So now I know I'm clear on what I do and don't want so I can keep moving forward, right? So you also want to know what is your challenges and what's going to stop you if something happens. So like,
Mom, I have red power.
I love it. I love it. So therefore, you know how to get around it. You're prepared that this might happen, that this might happen. But on those days, you go back to your strong foundation of your growth mindset, and you know how that's not a problem. That's a little setback because I need to grow in this area. That's not a failure. That taught me this because you've already done your growth mindset stuff. So, and then because you've already visualized, you know how big that dream is, that a little setback shouldn't set you back because you're like, I need to keep going because I know what I'm looking for. I know what I need. Nothing could get in my way of all of these things I've set clear to myself, right? So now you look for the solutions for the problems you've listed in a business. So for me, I want freedom. I want profit. I'm financially strapped at the moment, so I need money to come in. I named all my problems, right? So now you've got to implement those systems. So me, just knowing what I wanted and what I envisioned, I started following the people that had what I wanted. I started asking the advice of people who were doing what I wanted to be doing. I started joining the memberships of the rooms I wanted to get in with the right people, right? You want to get in the rooms with the right people. You don't want to go ask advice to your friend who filed bankruptcy last year. If your goals are money, the bankruptcy friend isn't who you're going to want to ask about what you're looking for in business, right? So for me, I wanted an online business. I had no idea how to do it. So I had to do a lot of this framework to decide, what do I need out of a business? Because before I did all this framework, I spent and wasted a lot of time and money buying stupid courses that didn't align with my goals, buying programs that they might have helped, but they weren't it. So by getting clear on my problems and my goals, I was able to pick the right program to get me to where I was going and be able to jump on here and talk to you guys today. So you also, before we even get to that, you just know what you need. So your brain's kind of opening to other directions because it's like, okay, I know what I want now, and I'm going to pay attention to that as these opportunities come in my lap. Because once you open your mind to this, opportunities just show up. It's how it works. You start having conversations with people and things just align. That's how it goes, right? So now you want to focus on high value activities, whether or not you're in your business already or you're looking for that business. Your high value activities, you don't want to do this in vain because if you're wasting this much energy on a low value activity, that much energy could have went somewhere else at a better, baby, get down. Do you see this, y'all? I mean, I can't make this stuff up. I can't make this stuff up. Okay, please don't step on the counter.
Mom, how am I going to
Just don't. We will do it together with like a ladder or something. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to write that down. So you want to focus on
How are we gonna get an hour?
high activity or high
How are we gonna get an hour?
value activity. Andrew, we'll do it when I'm done, okay, baby?
How are we
I'm
gonna
only
get
on
an
here
hour?
for 30 minutes and I'm on minute 15. So when you're focusing on high value activities, so for example, you want to focus on income producing activity, okay? So for me, in my online business, I have a 2-hour workday. That means I had to structure 4 30-minute segments on really powerful activities that produce income for me. So for me, I needed to focus on my social media because that produces income for me. That opens doors for free to people I wouldn't normally get to talk to. So that to me is a high income activity. So that's going to take up 30 minutes of my time, minimum. Then I do something where we do something called copy and paste free ads method. That's just something I learned in the blueprint that I speak about on my page. It is free advertising, right? So I'm putting myself out there. Again, everything's about advertising and marketing, right? Marketing's huge. We have the door on social media. I have the door to billions of people. Really, I have access to billions of people. It is way more than I could do at a seminar or at a school or anywhere. I have access to billions of people. So for me, marketing in the correct way to monetize my social is going to get me more people in front of me, and I'm going to be able to teach them these skills so that they can do the same thing. But if I don't correctly market, I can't do it. So it has to be high income activity. So I'm doing copy and paste free ads methods every day for 30 minutes because I need more exposure to different areas to reach those people who maybe aren't interested in TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. So I do that because it's a high income producing activity for me. And then I have 30 minutes of other things in 2 other segments. So you want to focus on high value activities. Those low value activities, delegate to somebody else. If you have a teenager, let the teenager do the extra cleaning that would take some of your brain power away, because there is something very real about decision fatigue. And decision fatigue is because our bodies, we make I think it was something like over 30,000 decisions a day. And I'm pretty sure I'm lowballing that number. So when you're making these decisions on these really low value activity all day long, by the time it comes to make a decision about the high value activities, your brain is burnt out. So I run things through systems like this when I'm making decisions. Even in my personal life, I run things through, maybe I won't run them through my goals and problems, I'll run them through my morals and values. And if they don't align with what I'm looking for in my life right now, I cannot even think about them another second and push them to the side. That is a high value activity, because that takes all those dumb things I don't need to worry about out of my radar, so that I can worry about the things that produce real numbers, real solutions to my problems, right? Because that's what we're all doing when we have a business. We care about others and we want to solve problems. If you're not solving a problem for your clients, then you're not gonna be very successful, because the reason people pay others like you and I, we're gonna pay someone to help solve a problem. But if they're not solving the problem, what are we getting out of that scenario, right? Especially if you are in an area where you feel stuck, where you have a problem, you want it solved. And if it can't be solved with the help of the money you worked really hard for to pay someone, then you're not going to be a happy customer. You're not going to have happy customers if you aren't solving problems. So you want to continue to keep your attention on your high income activities or your high value activities, because I don't want to put a number on saying money, because there are things that are high value to you. Your children are high value. Those decisions require priority. They're still high value decisions, but the low value decisions, like where am I going to buy my paper plates, or what am I going to get for, just like, you know what I mean? Those are low value decisions. Like, they're not worth wasting energy on. Delegate those out to somebody else, because decision fatigue is a real life thing. So when you're feeling stuck in your business and you really can't make us, like, say I give you three things to pick from right now, and you can't choose out of the 3 to see which is the most powerful for you, you have decision fatigue. You're making too many decisions. Your brain is on a hamster wheel, and it's stopping you from being able to make the important, real decisions that you need in your business. So, like I said, delegate. Another thing you could do is time blocking. So, for example, I have a 2-hour workday. I'm very strict about my 2-hour workday. So when this clock hits 30 minutes, we're at 20 right now, I've got to go. Because I'm very clear on what I need to prioritize. And by making this 2-hour workday, it works for me as a mom, which was one of my problems. I don't have enough time to run a full-on business because I didn't have time. I have children. But I found a solution with that when I found this blueprint, because it taught me a 2-hour workday, which means I had to prioritize my time blockings in a 30-minute segment. When I'm done, I'm done. And I'm going to continue to come on every day live so that if I don't get to something or I want to teach on something else, which I'm going to figure out how you guys can see this better because I'm pretty sure it's backwards, but I will be putting these on my YouTube so that if someone missed it, you can go on YouTube and they'll all go in a series so that you can literally essentially have a free course to changing your mindset in your framework and success. So that is how I keep it really strict. I time block. I even time block the amount of time I work out. I time block how much time I spend reading. These are just things I do, and I put them right in my phone and my calendar. Like, I'm very strict about it so I stay on task because I'm ADHD, and I will butterfly and be on a whole different topic. So I have to have notes, I have to have a clear path for me, and I have to have time blocking. So these are just really important skills I teach because I think people think that certain people just wake up successful and others don't. But there are things that successful people do that others don't. That is why they're having the success they're having. And I feel like not enough people tell others the truth. Sammy Sue, who made 100K this year, didn't just wake up and make 100K this year. Are there people that are really lucky with that? I'm sure there are. But in real life, there are things that successful people do, and success leaves clues. That is a huge thing I live by. Success leaves clues. If you are wanting success, if you are stuck, then I invite you to go back on some of the things I touched on, which is decision fatigue. Because if you cannot make a decision, you have decision fatigue. And we need to talk about how we're going to get you out of decision fatigue, okay? Then you need to make sure you are prioritizing your high value activities, okay? And then next, you want to continuously promote yourself with improvement. Are you celebrating all your wins? Like anything, you made a to-do list and you tackled your to-do list, celebrate that. Because the more you celebrate that in your head, your neural pathways open and they try to get more ways to celebrate, right? So if you celebrate that small win and that small win and that small win and 10%, 10%, well, 10 plus 10 plus 10, they compound, right? Now, before you knew it, you improved yourself 10% every day and you celebrated it every day. After 100 days, you're 100% improved. These are things we cannot forget. These little things are way more important than we think. And I'm telling you, the successful people don't just wake up successful. There are things that they do that are extremely successful that a lot of others aren't doing. And when we break it down like this is what they teach. This is what coaches teach when you hire a coach. They break it down and then they help dig into your areas in a custom way to teach it for you. But I want to provide it for free because I found a blueprint that changed my life. And it taught me all these amazing skills. And it compounded on what I already knew. And I was like, wow, do people know this? I don't think people do. I need to teach people this so that they can change their lives and have their dream life that they visualize daily, hopefully. That they know exactly what color shirt they're wearing when they make that 100K. Like, you need to be that clear in your daydream of what you want your life to be like. And when you do that, your brain is going to try to figure out how to do that. Doors are going to open. So I'm going to leave you here in a second, but I'm going to leave you with another thought that's going to take us into tomorrow's live. You have a gift, you have skills, you have talent, and you have a purpose. All of us are born with it. There is something that you can teach me that I don't already know that only you can teach me, right? I can't learn what you've already learned because it's your knowledge. What is that skill? I want you to think really hard about this. What is that skill that you could teach someone that no one else could teach? And how could you better that skill? There is a lot of power in knowing your strengths, knowing the knowledge you have. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. I'm going to recap this here in a second. This is going to go up on my YouTube later today. And if anybody has any questions or if anybody's jumping in late, this will be on YouTube. Check it out. It's teaching you the success framework. It goes into your mindset, your activities, your goals, your problems. So I'm going to recap a little bit because we're coming to the end of it. So your growth mindset needs to start with the foundation, right? You wouldn't buy a house with a bad foundation. If your house had cracks in the basement and the house was caving in, you wouldn't want that house. That's how you have to have your mindset up, okay? And the reason you need your mindset up with such a strong foundation is because when a setback comes, you need to visualize it as growth. Okay, I step back 10 steps. That means I have 10 more steps I have to grow in the best way possible. Because if you get knocked down with every setback you get, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna be successful. Things aren't gonna happen for you because you're too busy being a victim in that moment, boo-hooing about a setback that was 2 weeks ago that you could have already moved 20 steps forward. So your brain needs to be so solid on the fact that setbacks equal growth, okay? So failures are lessons. There is not one failure in this life that you did not learn a lesson from. I promise you, if you say it is, you're being stubborn. There is a lesson that came out of everything you failed on. Everything. I tell my daughter this all the time. I tell her this when it comes to school. She'll come home and tell me she didn't do good on a test, and I say, good. She'll be like, huh? It means you learned something. If you're so great and excellent and breezing through everything, you're not learning. You're not growing. And that takes a little bit to wrap around because we have been programmed by accident through the school systems to think that every time we fail you, that we're a failure. No, every time we fail, we are learning. We're learning something stronger and something you probably will not forget. Because unfortunately, what comes with failures comes a story or a memory that you're like, I'll never forget that. I'll never do that again because I learned this lesson because I failed at this and it was tragic, right? Your brain needs to be that solid and that resilient. Because when you're resilient enough to understand that, you're resilient enough to keep going. Like when I tell you, I fail. I fail actively. I fail all the time. I failed so many times in the last 10 years of my business. But you know what I don't do? I don't quit. And I never will. I will continue to go. I don't care how dumb I look like on social media. I don't care how cringe I am. I will continue to go because you know what they always say, right? At first they call you cringy, then they call you crazy, then they start watching, then they ask you how. They ask you, they're like, wait, wow. And then they're like, how'd you do that? But they were the same people that call you crazy. So by never giving up, that is how you get to that result. So next I invite you to, if you've never done this, I invite you to visualize your perfect day. I want you to take some deep breaths, reset the nervous system. If that's 3 deep breaths, if it's a bad day for me, 5. On a normal day, 3 really does it for me. That is resetting your nervous system, getting you out of fight or flight, and then you are going to be able to visualize your perfect day. What does your perfect day look like? I invite you to close your eyes, tell yourself, okay, I wake up at this time, the light's shining in my eyes, I get out of bed and I do this, I drink this, it's my perfect breakfast, and I go here. That's how specific you want your perfect day to look like. Because then after you start doing that project with the perfect day, you can then visualize what's your perfect life. What does your perfect life look like? Because if you're able to visualize what your perfect day looks like, you will 100% be able to visualize what your perfect life looks like. So you start visualizing your perfect life and get very clear on it. Get so clear you can taste it. That needs to happen on a regular basis. Because when you have that in your head, it deepens your foundation because you're now like, I know what my perfect day in life looks like, so there's no reason for me to quit because I need to get to that. So that takes you into your growth mindset again. You already have your failures, your setbacks. Now you have your visualization of what that success looks like. But you don't know how you're gonna get there. You're not gonna focus on your how, because all of your hows are going to happen without you even knowing. You just have to build up these muscles to get there. So the next one is you're going to get really clear on what you don't want. Write out 6, don't get crazy because this can get really crazy, but write out what you don't want. Write down 6 things in your life that you don't want to be there anymore. I don't want my bad financial situation. I don't want to be too busy to pay attention to my children. I don't want to not take vacations. Write those 6 problems down. Don't go any more than 6. It could become a real like hole. We don't want it to be a crapshoot. Write down 6 things of what you won't want, then move on. Write down goals. What are 6 goals? Once you know your list of pretty much pros and cons, right? My wants and my don't wants, you can then go to your next thing when you're deciding what program or what business to start. You can align those with your goals and your problems to see if that business or program solves your problems, meets your goals, right? That's going to be an easier way for you to make a decision, because we have a lot of decision fatigue. And when we make too many decisions on stupid stuff, when it comes to the big stuff, we're impulsive or we don't make a decision at all. So by knowing what you're really clear on, what you don't want and what you do want, you can solve your own problems and get yourself closer to your goals, right? So then that takes me to the next one, focusing on high value activity. If you are wasting time scrolling on social media for hours on end and then tell me that you don't have time to make money, that is a low value activity, okay? If you are not spending time with high value activity, now for example, if you are someone who doesn't have a business yet, you don't know where to go yet, you're kind of still working on these things, reading a book about entrepreneurship, reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, reading the 5 a.m. Club, reading a book that's gonna feed into you to start turning the wheels to get you into changing your problem. That would be a high value activity. So for me, I work a 2-hour workday. The blueprint that I promote and talk about and help other moms with has taught me how to prioritize high income producing activities in 30-minute segments equaling a 2-hour day. Oh, I'm over a minute, so I'm almost done. But by doing that, it allows me to focus on what I need to do. I'm not gonna break down my 2-hour workday. I did that earlier. If you're curious about it, jump on my YouTube later, it'll be up. But that is high income activities, is high value activities. So these are the things I wanted to touch on today. I'm gonna try to jump on and do more lives like this and teach on a certain subject, mindset related, success related, every single day to help get you out of your own head, to help show you success and what's possible for you and how you can get there, so that you then too could be talking to other people the way I'm talking to you today. I want you all to succeed. I want us all to make money. I want us all to take vacations. I want us all to do better. So I hope you have an amazing day. Love you all. See you tomorrow.